What would you say to an estate agent who's suffering from too much competition, low fees, and overvaluing?
So
Are they all the same, do you think?
I think the problem is that a lot of agents feel like they're all the same. There's a great book written by a chap called Peter Thiel called 0 to 1. I would recommend it for anybody thinking about that, other than my book, obviously, which I'd recommend before that. But and it's
Good book, your book.
Thank you. And
It's my bedside table.
Peter Thiel, he started PayPal, and what he talks about in the book starts to get a little bit frustrating. I read it myself many years ago. He starts to talk about competition is actually, people think it's a good thing, but actually it's a bad thing. Competition just ends up in everybody disappearing down into nowhere. So you need to think of something unique, you need to do this, you need to do that. And as you're reading it, you sort of think to yourself, well, that's all very well, but we can't all invent PayPal. Some of us are just trying to make a living. But as the book goes on, you start to see what he's saying is that you're already sitting on this kind of mountain of value. You're just not appreciating it. Only you have been on the specific path that you've been on. And the same with these agents. Only they have been on their specific path that's led them to where they are. So they should talk about that when they build the business. They should talk about what's led them there, what they believe in, what they're actually trying to do, other than just we sell and let houses. Yeah, I know, but there's another reason. Otherwise, you just go and work for an estate agent.
Their why?
Their why. You know, and it gets a bit deep for some people, but if you spend enough time really thinking about it, it all starts to materialise. So, a friend of mine, Daniel Priestley, he he's told me this story about, there's this guy, he's worked for generations, they fix shoes, I think it was that they fix shoes, and they make a living, and there's generations of business, and then they're having to clear out the attic one day, and up there they find this painting, they're going to throw it away, they decide to get it valued. It's a true story, it turns out to be a Van Gogh, it sells for hundreds of millions of pounds. So the point of that is that you've got to find out what is your Van Gogh in the attic. There's something that only you can do. Only I have got the experience that I've got of being an agent, understanding technology, understanding marketing, and only I can do that. So that's what makes me valuable. But there's something that only certain agents can do. That I spoke to you before about an agent that we work with who works with people based on senses. Now he's into that, and only he can do that. And there's something that only you can do. There's a reason that the people that use that agent over the road are all a bit weird, because they've got their own kind of people. So as soon as you figure that out, and then you can sprinkle over it the magic dust that makes the customer journey fantastic, the sooner you start to remove the competition and you start to remove the issue of fees, because there is no longer this, oh, well, they said they'd do it for £1,000. So yeah, but
because you're not differentiating.
They're talking about something completely different.
So what you're almost saying is, don't blame the market, because you can't change the market. Don't blame the competition. Basically, don't blame anyone else. Just look at yourself. Find out what makes you so bloody special.
There actually is no market. The sooner agents realise there actually is no market, there's only people. People with individual wants and needs. I don't care. When I decide I want to sell my house, I don't care about the market. I've decided I want to sell my house. And I've got certain needs and wants that I want met. And the sooner you start to try and tune into people, as opposed to the general market says this, oh, I'm going to go in low with this figure because the market's not great at the moment. No, this is just an individual you're dealing with. So let's get a bit more.
Do you think that's where agents go wrong?
I think everything is very much tarred with the same brush. When you go to industry events and there's speakers there and they talk to everyone as one, this is what you all need to be doing, this is what you all need to concentrate on, and this is how it all works, and this is the solution. Do a bit of this, do a bit of that. I think everything should be a lot more unique than that. There was a time when there were butchers all over the high street, and they all went out of business because the supermarkets come along and offered cheap meat. And now you've got a resurgence of butchers, but they're very unique in what they do. They're quite boutiquey.
Yeah, I've got a family of butchers. I'm part of a family of butchers, and my parents in the 80s decided to start baking bread, and now every single day they're selling 400, 500, 600 cooked baps and another nearly 1,000 cold rolls. And then when they're in there, they're getting the pork chops and the chicken breasts.
But what a great example, So that is what an estate agent needs to do. Just stop for a minute and go, what are the people actually looking for? What is so special about us? What is our purpose on this high street? And then build your business around that.
Self-awareness. I think that's what you're trying to say. Accountability, but self-awareness of what you are, who you are, where your weaknesses and strengths are. Play to your strengths.
So many people there's a very English thing of underestimating your own worth. I was with a client the other day doing some consultancy, and I was saying to him, tell me why I should use you. What's so special about you? And they was all very, don't know. And we dug and we dug and we dug and we dug, and it turned out, this person has got 20 years experience in the industry. They actually made it to the final 4 Young Estate Agents of the Year. They've sold over £200 million worth of properties. They've won these awards. They've done this, they've done that. And I was saying to him, can you see how much power that would have if you sat down with somebody on evaluation and explained that to them first, so they knew who they were dealing with, before you just went on and told them what their house was worth?
Because that's what most agents do, don't they?
Yeah. They go in and they say, all right, nice to meet you, right, I think it's worth this. And what about if I could first of all say to you, just before we start, just a bit of background on myself. I've been in this business for 20 years. I was into the final of the Young Estate Agent of the Year, sold over this amount of property, done this. Now, let me tell you how not to sell a house. Now, that's a bit more powerful. But first of all, you just need to figure out what is the journey you're offering people and what is different about it. It's a little bit of one of those things where you just
But it comes back to what you said earlier. You've got to work out the type of person, or you call it the persona, of the type of person you want to attract.
Your particular type of person, not
everyone.
Yeah, not just, but there's also someone who sells flats, and there's also this. Forget that for a minute. Specialise in one. You can always grow. There's no reason to say that you can't deal with another persona at some point. But specialise in one, figure that out, then you can create the journey that person will absolutely love, and they will see the value in spending that money. Because at the end of it, they will end up with a smile on their face and the right amount of money in their pocket, and everybody's happy.
Excellent. Thank you much.